man. Can I have a coffee? Hey, does anybody want coffee? Who wants coffee? I just made a fresh pot of coffee. Does anybody want coffee? Who wants coffee? Does anybody want coffee? Who wants coffee?
Having conversations about society, one cup at a time. Coffee with RW.
Un cafecito.
Pour yourself a cup and join us.
Es un cafecito.
Last time on Coffee with RW.
All right, we're here with Moshir. Moshir, what part of the world are you from right now?
Right now, I am in Jerusalem.
You're in Jerusalem. All right, so what is it that you're saying that is not being covered or could be covered by the media? What's going on over there?
I'm talking about what the Israeli occupation, the atrocities are going on Gaza Strip. Since 18 days, they are bombarding the civilian people, killing children, killing kids, killing women without any distinguish. And they are, bombarding also the hospitals. It's a lot of atrocities is going on here. And they are blaming Hamas. Hamas, it's the faction or a faction which attack Israel bases, and they are saying that they attack civilian. Okay, but is that give you a right to kill more children, and does that give you a right to kill civilian too? If you want to have equal, morale, then you are doing the same what Hamas is doing. Are you getting me?
Yeah, I understand what you mean. The only thing is that if I'm not understanding, maybe this is a Hamas thing or just in warfare in general, don't they hide weapons and things like that in public spaces or in homes and things like that? Is that their tactic? Isn't that what they do?
Let me just be clear here. Even if they are hiding weapons, but I think they are hiding the weapons underground. But even if they hide weapons inside the hospitals and inside the houses, that doesn't give you a right to hit house and apartment full of children. And you have to try to find a way to get to them. And if you do the same what they are doing, then you are similar to them. You are. There is no distinguish between you and between them. Keeping in mind that Israel is occupied forces since, I don't want to say 1948, since 1967, and all these Western countries, they call our places, which is occupied territories. And on internet, on Google, you will find it occupied territory. So it's been declared it's occupied territories. Why the Western countries like United States, like Canada, like the UK is still closing their eyes about that occupation? Why they don't want to end that occupation? And to make it easy, if there was no occupation, Hamas wouldn't be there. Period.
So if this war didn't just start though, right? Like this has been going on for so long. So in terms of them hiding weapons in people's homes and hospitals, it's been going on for a long time. What would be another alternative to that? Like how would they be able to infiltrate it if they hide it in such delicate areas? And that just says more about Hamas, that they're using children and women as shields, for that.
I'm not a specialist in this side, but I think they are very educated and they are very equipped army, and they are, as they are saying, they are very well trained. But what I see is just they are using Air Force and hitting target on the ground. And I think the best way is, if you have courage, go fight on the ground. Don't shoot from up indiscriminately. Go fight on the ground. what they are doing, they are just putting their soldiers on fence, and they are not daring to go inside that territory because they are afraid. So that's why they are shooting from the sky, buildings, and they don't know what inside those buildings. I have seen many wars in my life on TV. I see the soldiers, how they go. They will use the Air Force for a little bit, then they will go on the ground. But what I see, it's cowardness, and they don't want to go inside, and they try to delay that attack, protecting. They are caring, or I don't know what they are protecting, but from my perspective, I think they didn't have the courage to go in. That's it.
You mean Israel? That they didn't have the courage to go in? Is that what you mean?
Yes, they don't have courage to go in. Why? Till 18 days, they're still using F-16 and attacking hospitals and apartments and houses, indiscriminately killing children, women.
Well, see, all right. So this is the problem, because I don't want it to get in. I don't want it to get into a heated, back and forth, because I'm just going to be saying that was done by them as well. Wasn't there weren't they launching rockets repeatedly to Israel? Or is that the opposite?
Sorry?
Where is the iron? So I'm not too keen on a lot of things. Where is the Iron Dome at? That's where you're at, right?
Iron Dome, it's in the heart of Israel.
Okay, so all the rockets that were launched to them, who was doing that?
Hamas is doing that.
Okay.
Defending themselves.
Okay. But that was but they've always been in war with Israel, no?
Okay, all Palestine is in war with Israel. If someone occupied your country, are you going to stand idly and doing nothing? You will definitely, even if you speak, you will fight them by all means, That's the right. For each one, he has right to defend his territory, to defend his country. Israel is occupation by international law, not me. They are occupied forces.
Right. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and believe me, I agree with you that killing.
Ralph, I am not here to talk about what's going on. It's a long history, and it's occupation, and we are the only country in the world which is living under occupation. The world think that the life start on 7th of October, but we were suffering since 1948 with this brutal occupation, segregation, racial discrimination, confiscation, appropriation, Pontustonization, all kind of Asian against unarmed people, against civilian people, okay? So I don't want to get to these things, but what I want now, right now, to try to find way to stop this bombardment against the civilian people. So we have to try. I don't know if someone have any idea or someone have any solution for this, but
well, the only thing I can think of is the very own people there is to go against Hamas, right? Because that's the only one that is the driving force of the violence. That's from my understanding.
Why we don't go against occupation and give Palestinians their state and end this situation by two-state solution? Why we don't give sovereignty for Palestinians, which they are fighting for?
So I'm trying to find. No, I understand what you're saying. I'm trying to find this clip that I have, because apparently this has been done before. Like, they've been offered, their own property long time ago, like at least several times, and each time it was denied. So if they don't want to do that, then what else can someone do? If I'm trying to find a clip and I'll play it, but I mean, that's from my understanding. I don't know if I'm correct,
What do you mean by offering? What did they offer for us, the country or the state?
I believe so. Let me see if I can
No,
find it.
no. They never offer us any kind of a state. Last time, the deal of century is talking about, it's talking about they will control us. They will put us under their observation, and we will live like we will govern ourselves only. That's what they are looking for. So there is no sovereignty. You will not have control on borders, and they will control everything. And this means colonization again, arbitration, occupation. That doesn't end the occupation. So they never offer us any state. We are living under occupation. You will not imagine. Yesterday, I stopped online for 2 hours because I'm Palestinians. They inspect each car. They inspect each car for Palestinian people because, there is road. It's specifically for Palestinians, and there is road for Israelis. So on the road which Israelis use, there is no checkpoints. But what they did lately, they put checkpoints on Palestinians' roads, and they are frustrating people. That's what they want. So yesterday I have been waiting online, for 2 hours to get my turn. So they inspect my car, and they try to provoke me. But, I kept myself because I know what they want. They will provoke you to do some things, then they will have right to shoot you. That's what they are doing. So that's in the West Bank, not in Gaza Strip. So they are, reflecting what's happened to them on civilian people.
Okay, I understand. So I'm going to play this clip. Let it finish to the end, and then so you can give me an understanding on the accuracy or my understanding of this. All right?
Go ahead, please.
Sorry, it usually takes a while for it to render. But for anybody that has any questions for Moshe in the chat, let him know. And hopefully,
please, guys, if anyone has any question, please, I'm happy to answer. But really, guys, Palestinian people are dying in Gaza because of this brutal occupation, which they are doing is barbarism, I think. I don't know why the Western countries are supporting this barbarism and this atrocities. I don't know why. It's homicide, genocide, whatever you want to call it, call it. Okay, I don't say that what Hamas did is correct. No, I'm against killing civilian. Okay, I'm against kidnapping civilian. I'm against what they did. But you can't do this reaction and start to killing everyone. And that is, I think, moral equivalent with you and Hamas. I mean, Israel and Hamas. If you do the same what Hamas did, so you are on the same page. On the same page.
All right, let me see if it comes through. Hold on. Why isn't this playing? Oh.
They gain nothing.
If Israel just allowed the Palestinians to have a state of their own, there would be peace in the Middle East, right? That's what you hear from UN ambassadors, European diplomats, and most college professors. But what if I told you that Israel has already offered the Palestinians a state of their own, and not just once, but on 5 separate occasions? Don't believe me? Let's review the record. After the breakup of the Ottoman Empire following World War I, Britain took control of most of the Middle East, including the area that constitutes modern Israel. 17 years later, in 1936, the Arabs rebelled against the British and against their Jewish neighbors. The British formed a task force, the Peel Commission, to study the cause of the rebellion. The commission concluded that the reason for the violence was that 2 peoples, Jews and Arabs, wanted to govern the same land. The answer, the Peel Commission concluded, would be to create two independent states, one for the Jews and one for the Arabs, a two-state solution. The suggested split was heavily in favor of the Arabs. The British offered them 80% of the disputed territory, the Jews the remaining 20%. Yet, despite the tiny size of their proposed state, the Jews voted to accept this offer, but the Arabs rejected it and resumed their violent rebellion. Rejection number 1. 10 years later, in 1947, the British asked the United Nations to find a new solution to the continuing tensions. Like the Peel Commission, the UN decided that the best way to resolve the conflict was to divide the land. In November 1947, the UN voted to create two states. Again, the Jews accepted the offer, and again, the Arabs rejected it. Only this time, they did so by launching an all-out war. Rejection number 2. Jordan, Egypt, Iraq, Lebanon, and Syria joined the conflict, but they failed. Israel won the war and got on with the business of building a new nation. Most of the land set aside by the UN for an Arab state, the West Bank and East Jerusalem, became occupied territory, occupied not by Israel, but by Jordan. 20 years later, in 1967, the Arabs, led this time by Egypt and joined by Syria and Jordan, once again sought to destroy the Jewish state. The 1967 conflict, known as the Six-Day War, ended in a stunning victory for Israel. Jerusalem and the West Bank, as well as the area known as the Gaza Strip, fell into Israel's hands. The government split over what to do with this new territory. Half wanted to return the West Bank to Jordan and Gaza to Egypt in exchange for peace. The other half wanted to give it to the region's Arabs, who had begun referring to themselves as the Palestinians, in the hope that they would ultimately build their own state there. Neither initiative got very far. A few months later, the Arab League met in Sudan and issued its infamous 3 no's. No peace with Israel, no recognition of Israel, no negotiations with Israel. Again, a two-state solution was dismissed by the Arabs, making this rejection number 3. In 2000, Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak met at Camp David with Palestinian Liberation Organization Chairman Yasser Arafat to conclude a new two-state plan. Barak offered Arafat a Palestinian state in all of Gaza and 94% of the West Bank, with East Jerusalem as its capital. But the Palestinian leader rejected the offer. In the words of U.S. President Bill Clinton, Arafat was here 14 days and said no to everything. Instead, the Palestinians launched a bloody wave of suicide bombings that killed over 1,000 Israelis and maimed thousands more, on buses, in wedding halls, and in pizza parlors. Rejection number 4. In 2008, Israel tried yet again. Prime Minister Ehud Olmert went even further than Ehud Barak had, expanding the peace offer to include additional land to sweeten the deal. Like his predecessor, the new Palestinian leader, Mahmoud Abbas, turned the deal down. Rejection number 5. In between these last 2 Israeli offers, Israel unilaterally left Gaza, giving the Palestinians complete control there. Instead of developing this territory for the good of its citizens, the Palestinians turned Gaza into a terrorist base from which they have fired thousands of rockets into Israel. Each time Israel has agreed to a Palestinian state, the Palestinians have rejected the offer, often violently. So if you're interested in peace in the Middle East, maybe the answer is not to pressure Israel to make yet another offer of a state to the Palestinians. Maybe the answer is to pressure the Palestinians to finally accept the existence of a Jewish state.
All right. So that is the clip I have. I have no bias towards this because I'm not from there. But what can you tell me about those different offers given? What other solution is there besides that? And you're muted, Moshe. I hope are you with us, Moshe? I think you're muted.
Yes, just give me 30 seconds.
Sure, no problem. So this is, I don't want it to be, a war is bad no matter who's involved, right? It's always the innocent people that get involved. But in terms of going back to something that has been tried several times and not working, there needs to be a different approach. So there needs to be a little more innovation in ways to stop this type of conflict. But apparently neither, at least this could be a biased video, and people in Palestine, they just don't want to hear nothing about Israel. Or maybe not the people, but the ones that are controlling it, you know? They don't want nothing to do with Israel. They want nothing to do with Jews. And they want to completely remove them from their part of the world. Then that needs to be said, you know? Now, if there wants to be some cohabitation, then there needs to be proof of that, and not consistently bomb Israel or vice versa, right? But I, as being here in the United States, I think there is a disconnect on what's going on abroad, obviously, but only because I feel we have our own problems. Not necessarily the same problems as somebody else does, but problems nonetheless. We may not have to worry about, will this visit to the store be my last visit because somebody decided to blow it up or blow themselves up. You know, it is the day that I have to have a traffic stop be the last time that I go home or go to work, because I get provoked to the point where I might say something wrong and get shot at. I think the people that live there need to find a way to fight back, because who wants to live in that constant fight or flight? You know? And I think people in that area, I know it might be difficult, but, you know, organizations and organizations rise up all the time. It's not like they never have done it before. People can get together. People can talk, you know, in the shadows and do something for their own country. I'm sure there's a lot of people that just want to live their life and go to work, take care of their children, live decent lives. They don't want to have to worry about putting a bomb together or taking apart a pistol before breakfast. You know, but that's a different life over there compared to here in the United States. Here we worry about nonsensical things, like how to address each other, or whether an election was true or not. But over there, there's real issues. But there needs to be talk amongst the people there to fight against the people that are taking over, because I'm sure they're the ones that are making the decisions, not the people. Monsieur, are you with us?
Yes, Rolf, I am with you. Sorry, I was just doing something here in my home. So
No problem.
I heard what the 5 states which you just mentioned in your clip,
Okay.
which you just played. I can get to you one by one. Okay.
Sure.
It's incorrect.
Okay.
They are the one who don't want peace. And I will start with you from the third point, which said they withdraw from Gaza.
Okay.
2006. You know why they withdrew from Gaza?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't withdraw for peace. They showed that, and this is from my perspective,
Mm-hmm.
they can't use the Air Force and they can't check their F-16 and their MiG, or I don't know which aircraft they have, until they, pull all the settlements from the Gaza Strip.
Mhm.
So if we can follow the news, they didn't, before pre-2008, they couldn't use the Air Force freely. And since 2008, after they pulled all their settlers from that area, now they have space so they can attack Gaza Strip by Air Force as freely, so they can disturb their people. They can do nothing for their people, and they pull back a little bit. This is more from my perspective. And it was unilaterally. It wasn't with agreement with Palestinians Authority. This is the first. By the way, if you want to, as they won't say that they pull and give Gaza. Gaza, it's 360 square kilometers. Okay, it's not state. It's part of Palestinian state, which is a part of the resolution 242, which is Israel should end their occupation to West Bank and Gaza Strip and Golan Heights. It's belong to Syria. It's not for us. So West Bank and Gaza, it's both together Palestinian state, with East Jerusalem is the capital for Palestine. So if they are really want peace, why they didn't pull all together, not just only from Gaza, but from Gaza they pull because they want to have free of conduct their air operation. That's it. So they can check their weapons, they can use the F-16 freely, they can use what they want against what they are doing now. It's the checking of the weapons. They are using phosphor white or white phosphor, I don't know what they call it. They use all kinds of rockets against civilian people. So imagine that time, if there was settlers around these people, they will not be able to use those aircraft. So this is the first one. For 1948 and 47, in the beginning, when you say that Palestine was there under Ottoman Empire, and after Second World War, UK or England, or what we call it that time, the colonization of England,
Mm-hmm.
or what we used to call UK that time, I forgot. 47, 46, 47.
I don't know, man.
Okay.
You're asking me. Go ahead.
UK was okay. It was
Imperial? I don't know.
imperial. No, not imperial. It was the UK that time after
Okay.
Second World War.
Mm-hmm.
So 1946. If you read the book of 6th Division Airborne, Britain. It was Britain, full Britain. They were there, and they can tell you how was bad for both, like Arab and Israelis or Jews. It wasn't Israel that time. It was Arabs and Jews on that area. And 1947. I don't want to long story short. Okay, I will keep it more short.
Sure.
When they withdraw from that territory,
Mhm.
and United Nations resolution was 181, 2 states, one for Arabs, one for Jews. Listen to me, with Jerusalem is separated body. What means separated body is under international community or international body.
You mean now?
So, sorry?
You mean now?
No. 1947.
Okay.
When United Nations decided that Israel, it wasn't Israel, make 2 states, one for Arabs, one for Jews.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh. It was an
They
international
decide that
body.
This,
Mhm.
yes, 50% or more than 50% for Israelis, and 45% for Palestinians. And Jerusalem is called separated body. Jerusalem is under international body, like United Nations or something, like organization will guide and control Jerusalem.
Right.
So what they did, 1948, they occupied, immediately the space which been like written for them in 181 resolution. Also, Jerusalem. They occupied Jerusalem, west part of Jerusalem. I don't want to, mislead people here. West part of Jerusalem. So Arabs were frustrated and attacked Israel for what they did, because they control more area, they control more land from which being designated for them by United Nations resolution. Okay? Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. So they were they weren't happy with the amount of pie they got. Okay. Like the piece of the pie.
Okay. So what's happened is 1967 Israel attacked again and occupied most of territories of Palestine. So now complete Palestine since 1967, I don't want to go back more. Since 1967 is under occupation of Israeli forces, including east part of Jerusalem. So they are violating international law from 1967, and there is many resolutions being took by Security Council of United Nations regarding Jerusalem, and you can check by yourself on internet. Resolution 251, Resolution 252, which regard Jerusalem, and there is many resolutions have been taken by Security Council. Most of them, asking Israel to withdraw from territories which they occupied since 1967. So since 1967 until today, almost 54 years, and still occupying, oppressing people, and call them to keep quiet, don't do nothing. We will, what they want? Tell me, Israel, what they want? They want to keep controlling us. They want to keep frustrating us. I don't know exactly what they want. I don't know exactly what they want. But for me, as a person, I'm talking on behalf of myself and on behalf of most of my people. We want to live in peace. We want to live side by side. If you don't want, give us the state and separate the state. Leave us alone. Don't control us. What you are doing is when you control people, that definitely you will have reaction. So don't blame me, because you are trying to, like, for example, I said to you yesterday, they put me for 2 hours just waiting on the checkpoint for nothing, just to frustrating me. Why? So when you put pressure on people, that explosion will happen. So don't blame the victim. We have to look to the causes rather than symptoms.
Right.
What is the reason for all what's going on? It's because of the occupation itself. End the occupation. It's the only solution. We should end that occupation. If they don't want to end the occupation, give Palestinians equal rights. Here, there is no equal rights. Believe me. Here is no equal. There is apartheid wall behind my house.
Mm-hmm.
There is apartheid wall 10 meters high. If there is video, I will show it to you. But there is no video here to open camera. If there is camera, I will open it to you and they will show you that apartheid wall 10 meters high. It's behind my house, away from my house, just 10 meters.
Mm-hmm.
And that's forbidden me to go to heart of Jerusalem, to the old city. Mm-hmm. And that wall was built 2004. Pre-2004, I used to go freely to my old city. But now I can't go there because of apartheid wall.
Mm-hmm.
Not only apartheid wall. There is, as I said to you, there is a checkpoint in all roads of Palestinian people. There is, as they are dealing with us as animals. They put signs in front of each village of Palestinians, written on that sign, it's very dangerous for Israeli, don't come here. You see how the government is playing the game to make a distance between people and human beings, and try to frustrating people. This is the way of their government. I don't know what they are playing, but really, I'm asking them that question. Mm-hmm. What you want to achieve at the end? Tell me what you want. Till 1967, you are keeping people under occupation. what you want from them. If you don't want to give them their state, give them their equal rights as your Israeli citizen. So they can use their airports. They can use the seaport. We can't use even the airport. We are not allowed to use the airport. We as a Palestinians, if I want to travel for you, if I want to travel to Canada, for example, I have to go to the cross border. I have to listen to crossing by 15 minutes. It takes me just 5 hours because they delaying you, they're frustrating you on borders, and then you will go to Jordan to travel from Jordan by air to Canada. So, but an Israeli citizen, he can go to Ben Gurion Airport and pick up his ticket and fly from there. So you see, it's racial discrimination, it's segregation, and by the way, confiscation for the land, building settlements everywhere, destroying the solution of two-state solution because they are building settlement inside the West Bank, which is, the core of Palestinians' state. So they are killing the two-state solution. I think, from my perspective, they are killing the two-state solution. So if you want to kill two-state solution, as the Palestinians, I'm telling you, give me equal right. And no problem, I will live with you, but give me equal rights. Don't treat, don't put me in inferior way.
Right.
In inferior position.
Right.
And treat me like not as I am not a human being. I am a human being. So, I don't know these lies which they just say and the video which you just put it now, the 5 solutions. No, don't listen to this propaganda. They never. And if you look to the history, they refused many offers for them. Many offers.
Okay.
I didn't do my homework today, but I can.
No,
do
it's
it
fine.
today
You
and
can't
I can bring
expect.
it to
You can't.
tomorrow.
You can't.
entered to ask people. I just entered to ask people how we can stop this atrocity against civilian people, which is just right now. 5,200 people were killed since 7th of October this year. 5,200 by this bombardment indiscriminately against civilian people.
So let me ask you this: No, I understand what you're saying. So are you familiar with the phrase grassroots, like a grassroots movement? Do you know what I mean when I say that?
So it's not grassroots. They call it mow the law.
No. What I'm saying is there a movement in Palestine where there's people talking about it in Palestine, or trying to, instead of letting, the ruling people handle all this, like have a movement of the actual citizens talking about this? Like, is there a face to that kind of movement? Is there somebody that you know of that maybe is on media, like on television or radio, that are talking against this whole, just the conflict in general, not the elimination of Israel or Jews or all that, but just the conflict in general, where there could be somewhat peace, or at least equality, like you say, for Palestinians? Because I am familiar of, like, there's always going to be propaganda on every side. I'm trying not to pick a side or anything like that. I'm just playing clips because I'm not a very, I don't know history.
I hear that.
So.
I hear that. And Ted shown, we are not going anywhere. We are living here. And I'm just responding to Ted Show. He say, why you are living there? It's our country. We are not going anywhere. We will live here. That's it. And it's not one.
So
side.
Can you explain to me the phrase? What is that phrase that I keep hearing people use, where they say, I forgot it. When they were trying to eliminate, or they're using to remove people from Israel in that area from the sea to the sea to the something.
I am from sea to the river.
Yeah, to the sea to the river. Can you explain that phrase to me?
No.
Oh, you don't want to? Why not?
From the river to the sea, that means no Israeli people. Okay.
So is that a thing amongst citizens, or is that just religious?
No. I am one of these
propaganda.
I am one of those citizens. Okay.
Well, hold on, Bashir. There's not like a personal attack against you. I'm just
I
like an
know.
everyday person trying to get to the bottom of this. I'm trying to eliminate the noise that social media and like you say, propaganda puts in our way. So I'm just trying to get to the bottom of these things with you. So don't take anything like an offense.
No,
Or
I'm
I'm
not,
not-
taking that
okay.
personally. Okay,
Okay.
I'm not taking anything personally.
Okay.
But listen, I'm just talking. I will respond to Ted Scholl. He say it's your country now. Okay, it's where I live,
Mhm.
and I would keep living here, and it's our country, and we're not going anywhere. That's it. So
Okay.
for you, sir, for your question, from river to the sea,
Mhm.
it's I'm against this. Most of my people against this, and Palestinians Liberation Organization, which is representative for Palestinians people,
Mhm.
they didn't say that. They are against that, and they say we will have our own state, and Israelis will have their own state.
Mhm.
So we are already recognized Israel as a state, but they didn't recognize us as a state. So we are against that chant. I am not with that chant. I want to live side by side.
Mhm.
And if they don't want to live with us, they can have their freely right to leave us alone and let us live alone. And that, but till the time,
Mhm.
your soldiers on the ground and your soldiers' foot on the ground, frustrating people, killing people, entering the houses of people every night. I'm talking a pre 7th October, okay?
Mhm.
Going to the houses, inspecting the houses, searching for
Is this United
bodies,
States soldiers?
for stones. No,
Did-
no, no. So why?
No, I thought you
United
said
States
your
soldiers.
soldiers. You were cutting out a little bit. I don't know if you meant United States
No, I'm
soldiers.
talking about no.
Oh.
I'm talking about them. I'm
Oh,
talking
okay, I
to
got
us.
you. Okay, I got you. Uh-huh.
So I'm not talking about United States. Come on.
No. I that's why I was asking because you were cutting off, so I didn't know if that's what you said. Okay.
Uh,
So can you explain to
uh,
me what would equal rights look like to you?
Equal rights. Like there is no checkpoints in
Okay.
front of my village.
Mm-hmm.
As Israelis, they have no checkpoints. I will go to my old city without going through inspection. I will not ask for permission to go to my city.
Mhm.
There will be no apartheid wall, which is divided the Jerusalem city and divided all the area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will be free to use any road I want because there is specific roads only for Israelis. I can't use. I can use the airport to fly from. Also, I can use the seaport. I can go to the sea. I can't go to sea. I can't go to the sea
You can't go to the beach.
in my country because it's
That's
only
right.
for the Israeli. I can't go to beach.
You can't go to the
It's only
beach.
for
Can't get a
Israelis.
tan. Man, that sucks. Bro.
I can't do all these things because
Can't have
of
a
the occupation
picnic?
are not allowing me to go to the Mediterranean Sea to see my sea.
Mm.
So it's there is a big
Divide.
let's say not divide. It's racial discrimination.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
It's racial discrimination. Ted Sean and anyone who is here listening to us, I invite you. You will be my guest for one week. You don't have to pay anything. You come and see by your own eyes, by your eyes, okay? And then judge.
Mm-hmm.
Then judge for yourself. I will accept whatever you will say. Come and visit me, and you will be my guest for 1 week. You will have my complete,
Hospitality?
everything. I mean, you will be my guest.
Mm-hmm.
Come for 1 week, judge for yourself, and I will accept whatever you will say. It's an easy way I will put it to you. You will see. I will see. You will see by your own eyes. It's correct, by your own eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I'm sure it's very difficult for you, man. Not only for just you, but people, the people of Palestine. It sucks.
Wait. May I to respond to Saki?
Yeah, just what did he say? Just so the people
He
that are
say
listening.
probably not. He say probably no checkpoints for Jews because they don't use suicide vest. Okay, listen to me. I live in a village, and there is no Israelis are living next to me. Okay, so why they are putting this
Me
why,
either.
why they are
That's what I say.
my son.
No, that's
So
fine.
why they are putting that checkpoint in front of my village to inspect me if I have explosion to go to destroy my people? Come on. You don't, I know you are not against me. I know you are not against me, but I invite you to come to visit my house and sit 1 week, and you will see by yourself and then judge. Don't listen to the propaganda. The Israeli government have very nice social media, and they have, they know how to play social media better than us.
Mhm. Yeah. So
And then wait. There's one word. If there is someone did something bad, that doesn't give you right to do collective punishment for everyone. Like what they are doing, it's collective punishment. Apartheid wall is collective punishment. What they are doing on Gaza Strip is collective punishment, which is against international humanitarian law. 103 resolution say that collective punishment is prohibited.
mhm. Yeah, no, I get that, man. It sucks. It just the sucky part is that if you was to get rid of whatever organization that does these horrific things, just another one is gonna pop in its place. It's a sucky world that we live in, But I want to thank you, Mashir, for enlightening us on your situation, and I hope you take into account. And if you have any more things to add on another day, you're more than welcome to.
Thank you, Rob, for
And,
giving me this opportunity.
yeah.
But believe me, guys, really, we are human beings. We want to live. We love life. We want peace. But what is Israel occupation are doing now and before against Palestinians people are only just, igniting the fire, and it will just give right. I don't want to make it more wide, but that will not stop the violence. What they are doing, I think, it's violence, and violence will lead to violence. That's it.
That's true. Yes, you're right, Mashir. You're right. Hopefully, everybody needs to hang out together and have some milk or something. Milk and cookies. And just get rid of all this stuff. I don't know.
So you see who Tidchon wrote that, stop sleeping with the enemy if you're oppressed. You like their water and electricity. So what you want me to do, Tidchon? What you want me to do? Imagine, put yourself in my shoes and tell me what you're going to do if someone come to take your house. That's it.
Is
Tell me
it
what you- what
legal
you're
to
gonna do.
have?
Are you going to leave?
Is it legal to have weapons over there for citizens?
No, we don't. But they spread weapons for all the citizens.
Illegally.
No. They give their citizens, all their citizen weapons, but we don't have, as a Palestinian citizens, we don't have weapons. But
So the-
Israeli's government, I saw yesterday on TV that the Minister of Interior, he start to give all citizens of Israeli weapons so they can defend themselves. As the Palestinians, they don't have
Oh.
right to defend themselves.
Just like they did in Ukraine. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. Well, that's well, I mean, I'm sure people can do a lot of things with other. I'm sure people can be creative with making weapons. But, all right, I'm gonna play this one last clip, Moshe, and
Thank you, Rolf.
yeah.
And I really appreciate that opportunity which you gave to me. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much, Moshe, for giving us your point of view. I always try to give everybody, like I said, the opportunity to air out whatever they need to say, and everybody decides.
I
That's
would-
all. Mm-hmm.
And to show, if I have opportunity to talk to you one by one, sorry, to show
One-on-one?
if I have, yes, if you have time, so you can speak. And if you don't have time, so we can go to another in other day. So I don't like people just to talk on chat because I'm not concentrating with them. If he can come up and speak.
We'll save that for another part. I'm just gonna
another part. Thank you, Ralph. Thank you very
thank you,
much.
Monsieur. I appreciate it. All right, so I'm just going to play this last clip, Monsieur, and if you want to say something about it in the chat, you can. This might be a reiteration of what I played, but this is somebody's perspective on the map. So I don't know if maybe it would be good if I was able to play the visual, but maybe they give enough context to explain.
To make a video, responded to people using this map to try to paint Israelis as the bad guy. Like this video says Palestine in 1947 and now. Map tells everything. No, it actually doesn't. And look, I get it. You just take a look at this map, you would be like, oh my God, the Israelis have just been taking all the Palestinian land. And yeah, if you're a total idiot who's just ignorant of all history, I can see why you would think that. So let's have a little history lesson so y'all can actually understand what you're looking at here. Because losing land like this doesn't just happen in a vacuum. No, there's a specific reason for each and every one of these fucking changes. And surprise, surprise, every fucking time is the Palestinians' fault. And look, just a warning here. We're about to do some learning. I'm about to give you some facts. So liberals, since I know you're not very big on those, you may want to leave before you actually fucking learn something. All right, let's take a look at the first map you see, which is labeled as 1947. The first lie it shows you on this map is it calls it Palestine. It wasn't called that. There has never been a nation in this area known as Palestine. This was simply the area owned by the British that was given to the Arab people. And these little white areas over here, yeah, those are tiny Jewish settlements. Back in 1936, all of this was owned by the British. And it had a mixture of mostly Arab with a tiny bit of Jewish. And in 1936, the Arabs revolted against the British and tried to murder all these Jews. So in response, the British formed what is known as the Peel Commission. The Peel Commission decided that the only way to have peace was to give each people their nation. So an Arab state and a Jewish state. And the funny thing is, the way they divided it up is a map that's left off this for some reason. So this was how they chose to divide up the land. The Arabs got all the orange here, and the Jews got this little bit of blue. Like at this point in history, the Peel Commission had determined that the Arabs got more than 80% of the land. That's pretty fucking fair. But the Arabs didn't think so. Because while the Jews completely accepted this division, the Arabs revolted yet again and went back to trying to kill every Jew. And we continued on like that for about another 10 years. In 1947, the British brought in the United Nations. And surprise, surprise, UN decided that the only way to end the violence was a two-state solution. So in November of 1947, this is how the UN divided up the land. The Arabs had got to keep all the land that they had said was important to them, and the Israelis got mostly useless, undeveloped desert. No, it looks like the Israelis got more land here, but at this time in history, most of this was just undeveloped sand. The Arabs basically kept every fucking city, every developed piece of farmland, every agricultural point and water source, and nearly every holy site. It's a pretty good fucking deal, right? Now, just like back in 1936, the Jews accepted the proposal and the Arabs decided to wage war. But this time, it wasn't just the Arabs in the local area launching the attack. No, instead, it was all these Arabs, plus Egypt, Lebanon, Jordan, Iraq, and Syria. All of the Arab nations surrounding this tiny little Jewish settlement waged war on them. But insanely enough, with all those nations against it, Israel won. And here's the best part. Even though they had defeated all of these nations bent on their annihilation, they didn't take a single inch of land from them. No, they just carried on trying to build a nation in the land they were given. Now, what they did do was occupy some land of the people in their country who had just tried to murder them. That's how we get to the third map. Now, at this point, this area of land here was actually controlled by Jordan, which you can't tell, but is actually this country here that's in the gray. Now, in 1967, the Arabs decided to try the Israelis again. This time, it was Egypt, Jordan, and Syria versus Israel. Their stated goal at that time was the complete and total annihilation of the Jewish state. They vowed to drive them into the sea. This conflict would come to be known as the Six-Day War. And wouldn't you know it, the Israelis beat that ass. Now, at this point, the Israeli government was actually completely divided on what they wanted to do with the land they acquired. Half the government wanted to return the West Bank to Jordan and Gaza to Egypt in exchange for peace. The other half wanted to give it to the Arabs who had originally been in the region and were now calling themselves Palestinians, with the ultimate goal to have them build their own country and have peace. I want you to think about that for a second. The Israelis had just defended themselves for the second time against multiple countries bent on their annihilation, and none of their thoughts were about keeping the land for themselves. They were simply trying to decide who they could give it to that would bring the most peace. And you know what? The Arab League didn't even wait for them to make that decision, because in 1967, the Arab League issued their famous 3 no's. Those were no peace with Israel, no recognition of Israel, and lastly, no negotiations with Israel. So the Israelis had every right to keep everything because they had defeated them in war, and they never even considered it. He then spent about the next 30 years where the Arabs suicide bombed the Jews, trying to kill as many of them as humanly possible. Throughout that time, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, the PLO, they just said no to everything Israel offered. But then in 2008, the Israelis offered even more. Israel offered all of Gaza, 98% of the West Bank, and even included additional farmland that Israel had already set up. The current leader at that time, Mahmoud Abbas, he said no. Now, even without any agreement on the table, in 2005, the Israelis left Gaza and gave it to the Palestinians. And instead of developing this little chunk of land that could have been an amazing port, no, they just turned it into a terrorist base camp. Following year, they elected Hamas to be their ruling party. They spent every single bit of their nearly $2 billion a year in international aid on weapons. And since that time, this little strip of land has launched more than 4,700 rockets into Israel, killing thousands. So what the f did you expect Israel to do? Just keep dying by rockets from land they gave away? Just keep accepting that the people who lived next to them were trying to murder them? Israel has tried repeatedly to give up massive amounts of land for peace. The Arabs don't want peace. Hamas and the Palestinians don't want peace. They want the annihilation of the Jewish people. And it completely blows my mind that the people who have no problem calling everyone a fucking Nazi over the last 10 years are now protesting in favor of the people who want to unalive every Jew on earth.
So that's just another take on what I played. Like I said, this is nothing personal against Mushir or the people of Palestine. That is just one side of the propaganda. So that's one side's account of history. If anybody would like to come on and show a different side on another day, you're more than welcome to. We'll just call this part 1. And I want to say thank you to Mushir for giving us perspective, and I welcome him back, as well as anybody else that is in Palestine or in those areas that would like to shed a different perspective of this whole situation.
Es un cafecito. So say good night to the bad guy. Come on. The last time you're going to see a bad guy like this again.